There's no shortage of things to worry about as a parent of a teen these days. Are they making genuine friends? Do they have enough activities? Do they have too many activities? In addition to these concerns that have been around for a long time, parents also now have to navigate the challenges of our online social media world that adolescents have been thrown into over the past 2 decades. Today, we are going to explore some of the pros and cons of social media and what you can do right now to help your child stay safe and thriving in our digital world. Let's talk first about the negatives when it comes to social media usage. The experts point to some of the following considerations. Number 1, a big issue is loss of sleep. If you are allowing your adolescent to have their device or television in their room, there is a high chance that your teen will not be able to regulate and manage their consumption. Lack of sleep leads to mood, cognition, and concentration struggles. Number 2, the idea of permanence. Once something is on the internet, it lives there forever. Growing teen brains have a hard time completely comprehending this concept, and it is up to you to help them navigate how this can be harmful to their mental health and reputation. Number 3, access to an audience. In-person bullying ends when the school day ends. However, cyberbullying can happen any and all hours of the day as long as someone is looking at social media. It is important to know if your child is being bullied online and what steps to take to stop it from continuing. And number 4, social media usage can become a power struggle between you and your teen that can grow with time and intensity. Being able to connect with your child and have open dialogue about their social media usage creates a safer way to manage challenging digital situations. Now, let's talk about some of the positive aspects of social media that experts would also like us to be aware of. Number 1, social media can be a great support in times of difficulty by allowing teens to gain knowledge around good mental health tools, access to support networks and organizations, peer support groups, and healthy coping skills. Number 2, social media can also be an opportunity to show creativity. Many teens are talented in digital art, coding, and other ways that can be highlighted through social media usage. And number 3, being able to connect to friends is a positive aspect of social media usage where teens can find comfort in feeling supported and part of a friend circle, or even several friend circles, depending on their interests such as sports, art, or humanitarian efforts.
Diving a little deeper into the impact of social media on teens, let's see what recent studies show. One report found that the most used platforms among teens and their usage rates are YouTube at 95%, TikTok at 67%, Instagram at 62%, Snapchat at 59%, and Facebook at 32%. And about 1/3 of teens report using at least one of these platforms almost constantly. Older teens, ages 15 to 17, are more likely to use platforms like Instagram and Snapchat. 36% of teens feel they spend too much time on social media, and 54% say it'd be hard to give up social media. So, why is it so hard to give up or cut back? According to a Harvard psychiatrist on why social media is addictive, it comes down to how today's children are brought up with highly stimulating technology, whereas previous generations were brought up with various interactions in the physical world. Social media's instant rewards, such as likes and comments, create a sense of self-worth based on numbers. This, combined with constant alerts and engaging emotional content, leads to compulsive checking and a fear of missing out. Done over enough time, the brain may become used to this instant gratification that social media provides. This can make slower real-world activities, such as reading and face-to-face social interactions, feel less rewarding and reduce a teen's tolerance to boredom. However, social media isn't all bad. Studies have discovered benefits to social media use, such as teens who engaged in online support communities reported lower rates of depression compared to those who consumed emotionally triggering content. That social media helps foster a sense of community for marginalized groups, helping teens feel less isolated. And that online activism and positive engagement are linked to a higher sense of purpose and self-efficacy.
Okay, so now that we have a better understanding of the impact of social media, how can we as parents help our teens navigate it safely and positively? The answer, perhaps surprisingly, isn't about stricter screen time or the latest parental control app. It's about something much more fundamental, our relationship with our teenagers. Building a strong, positive parent-child bond is the most powerful tool we have, helping us to shield our teens from risky behaviors, both online and offline. So how do we build that strong bond with our teens? We need to create a safe environment where our teens feel comfortable coming to us with anything without fear of judgment. This involves open communication, trust, and active listening, even about uncomfortable topics. Instead of lecturing, offer support, ask questions, and work together to find solutions. It also means learning from our teens. Ask them to teach you about the apps they use. Show genuine interest in their online world. This not only builds connection, but also gives you valuable insights into their experiences. Instead of dictating what they can and can't do online, ask them what they want out of their social media use. What kind of connections are they seeking? What impact do they hope to make? This approach empowers them and helps them think critically about their online behavior. Now let's talk about parental monitoring. This is another critical component, especially during early adolescence, roughly between the ages of 10 and 14. This isn't about simply regulating screen time. It's about actively working with your teen to set healthy boundaries around social media use. It means openly discussing media content with your children. Teach them how to evaluate sources and identify fake news. Pay attention to sensitive themes like violence, sex, substance use, or body image. Be aware of current events and news headlines, and be prepared to discuss potentially traumatic content with your teen in a thoughtful and sensitive way. We also need to be willing to talk about crucial topics like internet safety, personal boundaries, and self-regulation of media habits. This includes issues like cyberbullying or the spreading of rumors about others online. Talking about these threats preemptively can help prevent more serious situations down the road. Parental monitoring, along with strong parent-child bond, serve as powerful protective factors against teen problem behavior, including social media addiction. In addition, here are a few other strategies you can employ. Number 1, create a family social media plan. This plan would include age limits for social media access, as well as rules about digital citizenship. Number 2, setting screen time limits and establishing tech-free zones. Number 3, encourage alternative activities. Instead of removing devices, which can feel punitive, focus on encouraging your teen to discover other passions and interests. And don't be afraid of boredom. It can be a powerful catalyst for creativity and self-discovery. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, we must be the role models we want our children to be. Our own social media habits and attitudes towards screen time have a profound impact on our teens. We need to model mindfulness and presence. If we establish tech-free zones, we need to abide by them ourselves. We need to show our teens what a healthy level of media consumption looks like by setting our own boundaries.
Remember, parents, you are not alone in this. Your teen has their part to do as well to stay safe and healthy. Have a conversation with your teen about the trusted people in their life. If they are struggling, they should know in advance who will help them work through the problem. It can also be useful to practice specific scenarios. What would they do if they discovered a rumor about themselves through a post on social media, or experienced some form of cyberbullying? Thinking about it ahead of time helps them cope if it actually happens. When it comes to creating boundaries around social media use, get your teen involved. If it seems like they are not aware of how much time they use their computer or device, try keeping track without limits for a few days, and then discuss. Was it more than they anticipated? They may be open to limits if they agree that it is taking up more of their day than they want. Also, encourage them to be aware of the limits that others have set, and help them create a culture of being thoughtful around when they send messages. It helps reduce the feeling that they may be missing out if their friends are unlikely to attempt to contact them when they are not able to reply. And finally, have conversations about the difference between intent and impact. Use examples and role play again to imagine a scenario where someone says something about them that could be taken in more than one way. What would they think if they saw it when they were in a good mood? What about a day when they'd gotten a bad grade? Help them understand that even with good intentions, something they say could end up causing hurt, and encourage them to be willing to admit when they've made a mistake. At the end of the day, it all comes down to the hard work of connecting with your teen. Positive interactions and parenting practices will go farther toward being a protective factor for your child than strict rules around internet and social media use. As much as you are navigating a new frontier of parenting in the age of the internet, they are also constantly being faced with something new as they continue to learn and expand their access to the world. Be their guide and their best example while helping them grow into the amazing young adults you know they can be.